Last week, Secretary of State Marco Rubio went and testified in front of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about Venezuela and our intervention there. And this is the first time that any of this has gone on since we started bombing the boats on September 2nd. But Senator Coons, a Democrat from Delaware, he made some good points when he was questioning Marco Rubio.
But our president continues to threaten Delcy Rodriguez and the remnant of the Maduro regime with military force if they don't comply. We should know what are the policies, what is the path, what is the plan forward. You and I both know the long and painful history of wars that began and seemed to be resolved and then opened up into excruciating, expensive, years-long conflicts. In Iraq in particular, in Libya and elsewhere, things do not always go as planned. And so consultation with Congress that is truthful and forthcoming and transparent is critical. In your service in this body, you knew that, you experienced it. I was in the room as you held to account members of previous administrations for not coming forward as they should have. So, look, in order to avoid our men and women in our armed forces going into harm's way, doubting whether they have the support of the Congress, consultation, hearings, and deliberations are required. I understand the risk of leaks. That's a risk every administration takes. But at the end of the day, our framers entrusted the power of the declaration of war to this body, not to the executive. And where there is the time to consult, there has to be consultation.
So look, I don't care that Senator Coons is a Democrat. I don't really care about the party stuff. He makes some great points here. You can't deny it. He brings up how much of a catastrophe Iraq was, Libya. You remember Libya when this was your Secretary of State.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died. Did it have anything to do with your visit? No, I'm sure it did.
That was Secretary of State Clinton laughing and joking about when we helped overthrow Muammar Gaddafi, and then Libya turned into a failed state that is still in complete chaos. But so now our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who was on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for 14 years, Senator Coons brings up, how frustrated Marco Rubio used to get when there was lack of consultation for the Senate, basically no respect from the executive branch. And he points out, the Constitution made it the legislative branch's responsibility to declare war, not the executive branch. And he makes a good point. And when he called Marco Rubio out on basically the hypocrisy, this is what Marco Rubio said.
Thank you. Well, let me unpack the 3 points you touched upon: consultation, NATO, Greenland, alliances in Greenland. Let me tell you on the consultation. Look, this has been a point of tension, not just in this administration and Congress, but in multiple administrations. As you rightly pointed out, I was a big fan of consultation when I was sitting over there. Now, it's a different job, different time, but it's not.
So basically, Marco Rubio saying, yeah, I was a fan of consultation, but I have no principles. So now that I'm in the position to where I should do the right thing, we're going to push for further expansion of executive powers. And he laughs it off. And see, this is the problem when you have politicians. We don't have true principled leaders. We have politicians. They've got their own agendas. They've got, they're going to do what they want to do. They don't really want to adhere to the Constitution. They don't really care about protecting the Republic. That's what we got going on right now. This is imperialism. Marco Rubio is an imperialist. And so is Donald Trump, and so is Joe Biden, and so is Obama. All of these presidents, all of these leaders, they're not really faithful, and they show no respect to the Constitution. They just do whatever they want, and they figure out a way to justify it, and then they sell it to you, the American people. And so if you're still supporting these foreign interventions and still supporting the actions of the Trump administration when it involves aggressively intervening and striking foreign sovereign nations, you're wrong. And the Constitution says that. So let's hold everybody accountable and let's not be hypocrites. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment.